Hi, welcome back to X's and O's with Dan Orlovsky. I'm Mike O'Hara, and once again brought to you by the good people of Xfinity. And Dan Orlovsky, the Detroit Lions, another tough loss against Minnesota last week, and now they have the surging, and they really are, Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming to Ford Field on Sunday afternoon, kickoff at 1 o'clock. And Dan, when you see the Buccaneers, you see a young quarterback, actually a fifth-year player in Jameis Winston, throwing a lot of touchdown passes and a lot of interceptions, and did both in a 38-35 win last week over the Colts. When you see Jameis and you followed his career, what do you see in this young quarterback?
Well, it's a maddening career, to be honest with you, Mike. I mean, he has so many moments where he looks like the guy. He looks like worthy of the #1 pick, and he's going to be your franchise player. And then he has moments where he just has mind-numbing interception after interception after interception. So the talent is there, the production is there. But I say this, the #1 job of a quarterback is to make sure you don't hurt your football team. And Jameis is 5 years in, and that's kind of a storyline right now. And so if he can correct that, he could be a very good player.
Well, he might be out with one of his key players, Mike Evans, the wide receiver. But just before we get to that, just one thing, like you said, 456 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and ran for a touchdown. I think that's checking all the boxes, good and bad. Okay, give us the X's O's on this first one. It's the first quarter, and it's a 61-yard pass to Mike Evans. Break it down. Tell us what you see on this throw by Jameis Winston.
Well, you mentioned, they might be without Mike Evans or whatnot. Well, they have another outstanding receiver in Chris Godwin as well. So whatever guy you want to put up there, what Bruce Arians would like to do is put him to the one side of the field. The ball is on the left hash. He's going to put his playmaker receiver, again, either Evans or Godwin, to the field by themselves and go, okay, defense, how are you going to line up? Are you going to just play with one cornerback over there? And if you are going to, you're going to see go routes. You're going to see comebacks. You're going to see the traditional one-on-one routes by these receivers. Now, if you don't want to leave your cornerback singled up, then you have to put the safety over the top, and the Buccaneers will run the ball out of these formations. So we call it formation into the boundary. Mike Evans is a dynamic, explosive, downfield receiver, probably one of the more undervalued or underrated receivers in the NFL, but Jameis is talented enough. They are an offense that likes to push the football downfield. I would imagine if he plays that Darius Slay will shadow and mirror him. But you got to be very aware that when he's to the field or Godwin's to the field by themselves, they're trying to throw the ball downfield with those receivers in those formations.
Well, Dan, before we move into the fourth quarter, the Detroit Lions like to play a lot of man coverage. That's an awful lot of pressure on the defensive backs, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a ton. But, I mean, thankfully they have one of the premier corners in the NFL, like Darius Slay. But it's a lot of pressure. But Slay's one of those corners that he rises to the challenge. He wants that one-on-one.
Well, at this point in the game, we're going to move along to the fourth quarter right now, and Jameis has 3 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. Here comes pick number 3. Break it down. Tell us what you see on this one with 9:53 left in the game.
Yeah, sometimes Jameis throws interceptions because he doesn't see things well. Sometimes Jameis throws interceptions because he forces the football. This is a little bit of a force. He's an aggressive thrower. I understand it goes off the receiver's hands and it gets tipped to the secondary, but it's because it's an aggressive throw. Like, he is going to try to fit throws into windows. So the defensive backs need to be aware of it. Like, just because you feel like you're covering your guy, that doesn't mean, though, Jameis is not going to try and fit that ball into the window. And also those safeties have to be very smart with how they track the football, because these tipped balls will lead to interceptions. Now, they love to throw the ball. I mentioned it previous play, to throw the ball downfield. They will continue to try and push the football downfield. That is head coach Bruce Arians' offense. And no matter if Jameis has thrown 0 interceptions or 2, which is in the moment of this game, that ball is going to get pushed downfield. So there's going to be some opportunity for some interceptions for the defensive backs and lines to get their hands on the football, continue to carry those defenders. And then when that ball is there, there's the opportunity to go get it, whether it's a clean catch or a tip, you got to make it. The ball will be put in harm's way this weekend.
Well, the Bucs now, they're down 35-31. The defense makes a stop, and now turn the ball over to the Tampa Bay Bucs offense. And before we go into this play, do you think that he's at all, Jameis Winston, concerned about the interception he just threw, or is he just clear-minded, he's going to throw the ball like he always does?
New play. Jameis, well, he does not care what happened the previous play. It's a very good talent. It's a very good skill to be able to bounce back from that. He does not. If he throws an interception, he's going to come out and be super aggressive again.
And it shows it right here on the first play of this drive. It's a 27-yard pass to Brashad Perriman, the son of former Detroit Lion Brett Perriman, and finishes it off with this 12-yard touchdown pass to Perriman to win the game. Break it down. Give us the X's and O's. Tell us what you see.
Well, you see, they get into the empty formation. Okay, what is your information that you're giving us with these double stacked and my tailback extended outside of the tackle? And so, if you're going to play some man-to-man coverage, Jameis wants to try and find you. He sees Perriman at the bottom of the screen in the slot, and he thinks, I've got man coverage. I'm going to peek to my right to hold that safety. The outside receiver comes onto this 2 or 3 step slant underneath to clear out the corner, and then it's Perriman one-on-one on a nickelback, and Jameis throws the appropriate throw with his back shoulder kind of inside the red zone fade. But there's a lot of good matchups that this offense has. They will try to throw the ball to the matchup that they think they have the best advantage of. They will move guys around to continue to do that. And the Lions will be challenged in their man coverage to make plays on contested throws. But the opportunity for the Buccaneers to throw the football down the field will be there. Jameis will use his eyes really well, and he will be aggressive with the ball.
Well, that makes it 38-35. That's the final score. That's the way it stands. Dan, before we wrap it up, though, if you're the Detroit Lions, you're going to stop that offense, and they can run the ball once in a while, too. What is, if the 1 or 2 keys for the Detroit Lions defense Sunday at Ford Field?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've talked about Jameis's aggression and his, willingness to put the ball in harm's way. I try to confuse him with some pressures where I put people up into the line of scrimmage and drop people out. I try to bait him to make some throws. He's a very confident player. And listen, you've got to get the ball turned over and then go score with it. That is your best. You're going to get some. You're going to get some opportunities. Make them and then turn it into points.
All right, Dan Orlovsky, that's a wrap for this week. Sunday at Ford Field, Lions Bucks, kickoff, 1 o'clock.
Later, bud.